Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. I want to do a real quick impromptu on this one. I'm not going to do a lot of editing or anything, so just follow with me the best you can. I think it's important to bring this to your attention, okay? Number one, we're seeing people a little bit more conservative on their spending right now. So you're going to, if you haven't already felt it, see less and less change outs, okay? Now, we have to adjust our business strategies in order to keep our margins as high as possible, but we want to be ethical as well. We want to treat people right. And if people want to just repair instead of replace for now, they have every right. So we need to be there to support that. But what that means is we got to make sure the bills get paid. And I wanted to share with you over here on the screen a real quick example to show you how that might look. Now, this is the price calculator for a larger company, about a $5 million company. I'm not going to use that as the example. I just wanted to give that to you as a standard because I will bounce over there and show you something real quick. This is AC and Heat Pete. This is a one-man operation. He's doing about 3 change outs per month, and he's doing pretty good on service calls. He's pretty much full-time a service tech. You know, he's got a little bit of commercial work, a little bit of maintenance, but he's mostly doing service, okay? And this is my calculator for the service only service. And I want to show you how your bills, your overhead need to be considered as these other things fall off. So in this example, this company's only doing about 10% of the overhead comes from change outs. And most of it's coming from service. And you'll see over here, there's a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of commercial work, but this is mostly service. So if in this scenario, actually, let's go back to the big company. The big company, let's see what they would charge for a capacitor. So what they have to charge. So I've got a $15 part here, and I'm looking at an 8% sales tax, credit card fee of 3.65%, a little bit of truck expense. Maybe they waive the diagnostic fee because they're a bigger company and they need to do that. They're going to have to charge, if they're going to make a net profit of 25% and they've got an hour in on this job, they're probably going to be somewhere in this realm, about $540 for a capacitor. And now there's things they can do to get that down. But if you look over here at AC and Heat Pete, one-man operation, let's go see what he would have to charge. So here we go. There's our $15 part. And if we look in here, same thing, financing, he's hourly, so we're paying him for the whole year. His break even, in order to make 25%, he's way down here, less than $300, right? He can do that because, let me show you over here, his overhead, the service department only has to pay about 30% of that because he's getting at least 3 change outs a month. Well, what happens if this were to go away? Let's look at this scenario over here. It's pretty much going away. We're only getting what looks to be half dozen change outs a month or whatever. So this is only service only. That's the green. Now, same overhead, $158,500. Let's go back over here to AC and Heat Pete, $158,500. Now, if he's mostly service, what's he going to have to charge? Well, we got our $15 part. He's going to have to get about $375 to make 25% net profit. Same overhead, same company. The difference is this right here. He's not getting 38 jobs a year. So what this means is if you'll take your overhead and departmentalize that as best you can based on usage, what you're going to find out is that you're going to have to start raising your service rates in order to overcome what you're losing over on the changeout department. And you can actually use your numbers. As you can see, your numbers, if you're a smaller company, it's pretty easy to compete with the big companies and you can still be profitable. The key on this stuff is not to miss anything. Make sure everything is included, then make sure it's broken up by department, and then make sure that each of those departments are delivering the monies that they have to in order to pay their portion of the overhead. How do we do that? We set a quota. We have to have this many service calls for the service department. We have to have this many change outs for the change out department. And we have our maintenance agreement programs. And of course we have our commercial, which we can do hourly. So I'm talking about flat rate clearly here on the service. If you go time and material, if you're from that world, good luck with that. Most people have gotten away from that. So just take this into account when you're moving your numbers around. Let me reword that. Let's take this into consideration or under advisement. As one department produces less money and it can't pay the overhead, We need to take some of that overhead and stick it over here in the other department. You either do that by having more work, like more service calls, but that may pull back too, or dividing that amongst the calls that you have and watch your prices go up. You'll basically have to raise your prices on service is what I'm saying as changeouts fall off. Now, there's other strategies that you should be doing. Maybe we can do rejuvenation to existing equipment and really get it prepared for the next 2 to 3 years to get through without having to replace that equipment and put new equipment in. There's things you can do, right? There's no guarantees, especially if it's really old equipment. But certainly we want to allow the customers to have their way, although if you're the expert, what they want may not be in their best interest, so you need to be prepared for that as well. So Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness, something for you to think about. Go get them. Just be careful out there. Things are changing, and you need to stay on top of it. Talk to you on the next one. Bye-bye.